Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating Embrace Your Geekness Day in US, from Dragons to Aquaman. If you are into any sort of fandom and not afraid to show it, Embrace Your Geekness Day on July 13th. It's time to dust off your wizarding robes, collect those Pokeballs, and charge up your lightsabers. No fan is greater, more creative than that of any fantasy land. And today is about embracing your love for your favorite fandoms. Your geekness is being rewarded by other geeks around the world. Once upon a time, geekiness may have something popularly frowned upon, a time when self-proclaimed nerds would shudder away their cosmic bows and wizarding capes in the hopes that they wouldn't live to see another day when their glasses need tapping. And while the geekness may have been a social taboo in the past, today it has become a symbol of creativity and passion. The term geek was used to refer to circus performers in Victorian age. Before that, a geek was simply a freak as used in the English language or a fool in German. Those oddballs were put on display in traveling geek shows and circuses where they would eat the head off a live chicken or snake. It wasn't until the mid to late 20th century that the term geek arose as we know it today. Someone who is fantastic about the fantasy worlds of superheroes and or magic. And while those who are openly geekish used to be the victims of swirlies and being shoved into lockers today, the term has become popularly and warmly embraced as more and more people reveal themselves to be even a little bit geeky. While the specific origins of the holiday are unknown, Embrace Your Geekness Day was founded by Wellcat Holidays to celebrate all things geek rather than allow geeks to suffer for their devoted love of warlocks and wizards, superheroes and supervillains. Embrace Your Geekness Day is a chance to celebrate the inner geek in all of us. Today is also commemorated as Fool's Paradise Day on July 13th. It is a day to forget the worst ideas of reality and embrace the fantasy world of our thoughts. To normalize this and assert the importance of having a happy place to go. When things get dark and out of hand, a fool's paradise is made up of world we imagine, a world where we can find eternal happiness. While people might make fun of such thoughts as childish, naive, Fool's Paradise Day is a day to embrace such a paradise and try to find happiness amidst all the tension and pressure of the real world. So why do we exist? We may say that humans are not yet evolved through enough to understand such intrinsic, but that does not mean we should not ponder over it. What are we? What is our purpose? And who made us? Are a few questions each of us has asked at some point in our lives. We are not sure if answers will be found in our lifetime, so we'd like to dismiss such complex questions by remarking that the purpose of our entire life is to find answers to these questions. But that may not be the entire purpose. When it comes to the matter of purpose, the first thing that comes to mind is happiness. We do everything for happiness. Air, water, food, and shelter are important. Being happy is an important a need. Happiness is an emotion. It is a state of mind filled with contentment and satisfaction. We don't usually believe that the true happiness can never be achieved. Life seems to be one long ride chasing the elusive entity called happiness. If reality is something that slows us down on our journey towards happiness, then there is a cheat. We can feel a temporary euphoria. As stated before, happiness is a state of mind. We can train our minds to find happiness in our thoughts. That is the origin of fool's paradise. In our quest to find true happiness, we can rest in our own thoughts as we define the parameters of our own happiness. With our imagination, we can create a paradise in our thoughts, a happy place where we have everything we ever wanted and needed. Take a day off to create such a world inside your mind and enjoy some pondering your adventure in the fantasy land. Today is also commemorated as Gruntled Workers' Day in US. Contrary to what the word might convey, it was founded to celebrate all that is positive about one's work or job. If Friday nights are your night to get together with pals or co-workers, so relax and went about your job, Gruntle Workers' Day is for you, as it can spur on you reflect on your work and make meaning out of it for yourself. If there's absolutely nothing to like, why not take a bold step and change something? In a world with growing dissent and job dissatisfaction, rental working days can serve as a powerful reminder that all work has meaning and purpose to it. And so much of the fulfillment we can find in our work is actually a choice. Not only we can see our work in a most positive light, but we can also spread that positivity by appreciating the work or services of any other worker or service provider. A simple thank you for something specific and have a nice day can go a long way in making someone's day. So, never heard the word granted before? That's because founders Thomas and Luthra of Wellcat Holidays made it up. Today is also commemorated as International Skinny Dip Day, which takes place on July 13th. This year, swimming is in the nude was a thing even noteworthy. People like Benjamin Franklin, Henry David Thoreau, and Walt Whitman took part at a time when just thought of swimming in the nude was considered uncouth and shameful. Back then, they didn't even have a catchy name for it. It wasn't until 1947 that the phrase skinny dip was first documented or uttered. Today, if you were at a party with friends and no one would react judgmental if someone suggested skinny dipping, people have been skinny dipping for years. As early as 1449, a local newspaper in Bath reported that people were shamelessly stripping themselves of their swimming garments and revealing themselves to bystanders as they took to the water. Though it was not acceptable at that time, some people were doing it. Soon after that, it became widely known that this was an activity many individuals participated in. Yet it was never spoken about in everyday conversation, even after artists like Thomas Eakins in 1885 and Charles Shannon in 1922 started depicting nude swimming scenes in their work. There were instances where indulging in swimming naked was somewhat embraced and even discussed, but came to an halt in 1960s with the sexual liberation movement. The movement challenged traditional codes of behavior regarding sexuality and interpersonal relationships throughout the US and the developed world. So all humans are, after a few years after that, society started embracing body positivity in the late 90s. All humans are beautiful and should be celebrated, no matter their size, skin color, or physical disabilities. These incredibly revolutionary ideas and movements help break stereotypes regarding nudity and people who choose to live their lives without clothes, and of course, those choosing partake in skinny dipping, whether in the daylight at a nude beach or intimate moonlight gatherings at midnight. In 2018, skinny dipping was declared a special day on the calendar. The American Association for Nude Recreation hosted the first skinny dipping event in 2018. According to the organization, the activity awareness days are so popular that are still growing. Various international groups compete to host world record skinny dip events. Today is also commemorated as National Barbershop Music Appreciation Day in US. We can hear those beautiful voices harmonizing, and they are telling us it's National Barbershop Music Appreciation Day on July 30th, a yearly event to celebrate barbershop music, a style of voice only a cappella style music. This day is not to be confused with another barbershop themed event, National Barbershop Quartet Day. People of all ages, genders, and nationalities come together to perform at various public or private events, singing melodies across genres. In a pop culture world, this day is a little slice of nostalgia, beauty, and authenticity combined. Barbershop music may have originated in England in 1600s and has grown since in popularity due to American influence. Barbers would keep a sit-in in their shops for customers to play while they waited. Some customers eventually began inventing their sounds, placing pebbles inside tin cans and so on, resulting in barber's music. In his now famous journal, the famed English novel administrator Samuel Pepys described this music as amateur international music, instrumental music. Today is also commemorated as National Beans and Franks Day in US. The US commemorates National Bean and Frank Day every year on July 13th. The purpose of this particular meal day is to celebrate the uniqueness of one of the America's first invented comfort foods. It's a basic dish identical to pork and beans, except the frankfurters are used instead of pork. So it is been used as a comfort food for many years and is normally served in a casual atmosphere. National Bean and Frank Day is a perfect day, ideal to make a beanie weenie dish for a lunch or a dinner. Today is also commemorated as National Delaware Day in United States, which is observed on July 13th every year. This day aims to commemorate the state of Delaware and how it was the first American state to officially declare independence from the British. The land of Delaware was used to be part of the states of New York and later Pennsylvania, but now it stands proud of its own. The state was named after Delaware River and Bay, which was in turn named after Thomas West, 3rd Baron de la Barre. It gained official statehood in 1776 when the 13 colonies declared independence from the British. Today is also commemorated as National Rock Day, celebrated on July 13th every year. It's all about paying tribute to rocks. And no, we are not just talking about extravagant rock music and rock concerts with guitars and a raving audience. We are talking about literally rocks. So, did you know that rocks are simply rocks and that all rocks you know fall in three categories: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic? Did you also know that the study of rocks is known as geology? If you are a budding geologist, you would know in depth of it. We can also explore how much there is to know about rocks. That's what makes International Rock Day so special. Technically, a rock is a naturally occurring solid aggregate of one or more minerals of mineraloids. Rocks cover the entire Earth. In fact, its outer solid layer, the lithosphere, is made up of rock and has been put to use by humans throughout the history. Rocks may not seem very important to the most people, but they are essential for the very survival of humans, and rocks played a part in the human evolution that we are experiencing today. International Rock Day is a special day to celebrate and honor this very essence of life. The main aim of an International Rock Day is to raise global awareness about the importance of rocks and encourage people around the world to learn more about rocks. There are three basic types of rocks: igneous rocks, which start deep within the earth as magma or molten rock; sedimentary rocks, which are weathered into fragments that are carried away by water, wind, and ice; and metamorphic rocks, which are essentially igneous or sedimentary rocks that have been changed by heat and pressure. At a granular level, rocks are usually composed of grains of minerals, which in turn are homogeneous solids formed from chemical compounds. Unfortunately, there is no solid history behind the creation of International Rock Day, and the origination and the creator of this day remain unknown. Nonetheless, this day needs to be celebrated because of the usefulness of rocks to mankind. So happy learning about the rocks. Finally, today, the last commemoration of the day, we are celebrating Sovereignty Day of Montenegro. Sovereignty Day of Montenegro is celebrated on July 13 to mark the day when the Berlin Congress recognized Montenegro as an independent state on July 13, 1878. Do not, however, confuse this day with Montenegro's Independence Day, which falls on May 21. The locals celebrate the occasion within 2 days of freedom from their regular work by grooving to the tunes of local music. Politicians and civic leaders come out to deliver speeches on this day, while colorful parades occupy the streets in different parts of the country. Fairs also take place in various areas where you can find food stalls serving a melange of local delicacies. A tiny Balkan country nestled in the lap of mountains and lined by strips of beaches, Montenegro is a popular summer destination. For many Europeans, sounds like a peaceful retreat, right? But the nation history wasn't always so harmonious. Montenegro was under the rule of Ottoman Empire before 1878, and it took a series of revolutions for it to get out Turkish clutch. Montenegro finally attained freedom under the Treaty of Berlin, recognized by the Congress of Berlin as the 27th independent country in the world. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations of the day. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Let's observe a minute of silence before concluding this session. Let's pray, let's meditate, let's observe silence for promoting for the global peace and harmony. See you all tomorrow at this with the same link at the same time for the international conference. Take care. Good night. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before leaving the platform.